Frustrating change, the primary habit of the impotent. Fearing change is a habit of the anxious. Surrendering undesired changes is a painful habit of the weary. Progress, chieftain habit of the vigorous, and at times are most vicious. Denial of even most obvious change is the entitled habit of the pampered. Ignorance is innocent, perhaps, but is still the guarantor habit of folly. To welcome and accept change, to flow with life as it flows, even pain, even loss, even death, is the intuitive habit of both. Peacefully enduring, we follow, and the invincible power of us. Well, what? I mean, what are we to do with this, Mr. Dan? You want to explain what you've written here? Why have you written this and posted this? To be honest, man, who cares? It's a bit preachy, all this, isn't it? Thanks a lot. Okay, well, frustrating change, the primary habit of the impotent. Don't say impotent to me. It's bad luck. In fact, don't say it at all. It's extremely bad luck to say the word impotent at all. It's a bit like, there's some words that just don't say. It's just bad luck. Okay, man. Let's just, but the point is, why look, so I don't think that having worked in pelvic health and stuff like that, look, can I tell you that there's no point. Fear there's nothing like fear but fear itself, you know what I mean? Right? So like what am I saying? Frustrating change. So people who are kind of stubborn and stuck, there's a kind of stubborn stuckness, a kind of resistance. I don't want things to change. I want things to stay they are. It's a kind of it's not an open way to live, and thus creativity is somewhat stinted. And if your creativity is stinted and your sense of what is beautiful and what's joyful in the world is not reflected in your ideas and your habits about the world, and instead you're just frustrating change. If frustrating change is your habit, you're going to end up with no boners. What do we do boners because of not accepting change? It's absurd. What do you mean it's absurd? No, it's completely correct. I mean, like, listen, man, just let's the next bit. Yeah, look, just take my word for it, right? Holistic thinking. You have to think holistically about your whole life. There's no point in being non-holistic and carving up your world and your life and your spheres and severance and all these things that divide us. There is oneness. Oneness is where there's calm. Oneness is where there's peace. Oneness with one another, right? This is about an examination of who we are. I like to think about humans and what we're doing and all this. Right, okay. So what's this next one here then? The fearing change is a habit of the anxious. Well, that's quite patronizing. You're trying to say that people have got no business to be anxious? Well, no. It's just that change is a thing that's happening, you know? The old Buddhist wisdom is to not be too kind of settled, right? It's to kind of don't be like caught in your possessions and your home and your money and your assets and your insurance and all these things I used to have. Pull together, for goodness sake. Look, people go through things all the time. What's the matter? You need bootstraps and all that. Exactly. Well, look, hang on. You know what I mean? You get it. That's what I mean. See? Got you. Haha. So, in other words, change is part of life, and one ought not to be too fearful about life, because life has its ups and downs and turns left and right, and sometimes things that can be great trials and great losses can turn into great blessings, and powerful change in things can be very healthy for us, right? What's next then? So, surrendering undesired changes. I should be perfectly clear. It's a painful habit of the weary. Solidarity to everyone in suffering. People having their homes taken from them, losing their their hopes and dreams all being burned or bombed or blown away or just taken out by climate change or warfare or economic injustice and whatnot, or class war, corporate injustice, state injustice, whatever it is. Painful habit of the weary, tired. Like the Statue of Liberty, like Lazarus's work. Think about that. The weary. It's a painful habit. Yeah. So one doesn't want this habit. So it's a pathetic habit. It's like a habit of choice, obviously. Progress is this chieftain habit of the vigorous. It's clear that people who want progress are vigorous. Think about the political leaders who are after change and drivers of change. They are inspirational. We want to be like that. This is inspirational habit. Progress. Good habit. Yeah. Sadly, at times, a little caveat about being vicious. What do you mean by vicious? How could it be the most vicious and the most vigorous? Well, the most vicious, mate, would be people doing colonization, doing crusades and whatnot. So your progress ought to be tempered, I think, with kindness, compassion, and thoughtfulness, and not just kind of invading and conquesting and taking and stealing and thieving and whatnot. Not that I can think of a country that does such a thing. No, 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 no. Anyway, wisdom. Moving on. Next point is the denial, right? Denial of even most obvious change, right? Those that live in denial about change and the need for change or change occurring right in front of us are, really a problematic situation that we have right across the place from people that just don't want to accept the need for it and move with the flow of life, so to speak. So, denial of most obvious change, it is the entitled habit of the pampered. Because like if change is impacting you, you don't really have a choice. It's happening. But there are those among us who, because they're unaffected by things that are happening in the world, they get to enjoy this pampered insulation. That sounds quite nice. I'd quite like a pampered insulation. Insulation right around my whole financial existence, my economic life, my good sort of portfolio, sensible investments, and good property market, and things kind of, right, okay, I get your point. Fine, 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 fine. What's next? So, excluding the fact that I'm extremely pampered and all that, and that I'm very entitled, it says here, ignorance is innocent, perhaps. So this is a query. You're not so confident, are you? Well, yeah, I don't know. Ignorance is innocent, perhaps. Like, I've made terrible folly in blindness, well, without awareness, not because I wanted to have folly, but because, I didn't know to not do the thing, walked right into traps and such. Kitty traps, so that'd be. Don't say kitty again on the thing, okay? Not every time. You have to lower the tone. This is the problem with having an alter ego. Well, listen, it says innocent here, perhaps. So do you think that people sometimes, ignorance is an excuse sometimes, not all the time? Exactly, yeah. It's pragmatism. But it's still the guarantor habit of folly, isn't it? Because I say the guarantor, you're gonna fail, right? So it's not one that one wants to have, the old ignorance, right? You want to spend most of your time trying to relieve yourself of ignorance. So this is a bad habit to have. To welcome and accept change, to flow with life as it flows. I like to think of life like it's a river, yeah. So you're kind of like, especially if you've got ADHD. If you're not one of these self-diagnosing people, are you? You should all get back to work, right, mate? Besides all that, the flow of life, yeah, it's kind of like the flow of life. I love the analogy, thinking about life as if it's the waves in the ocean and stuff like that. First of all, because the ocean's terrifying, immense, deep depth, and something that we all associate with sort of doom and demise and monsters and horror and infinite blackness and compression and such. Terrifying doom. Yes, it's quite scary even just thinking about it. I get the spooks thinking about the water, deep water. Anyway, in terms of the flow, though, it's coming and going. These waves are happening, right? Because it's kind of like a tidal wave can just come and take everything out. Things that will happen to you is not your fault. Without it, unless one knows the future, one cannot protect oneself from the tidal waves. Hence the need for insurance and whatnot, right? And the tribe is insurance. The tribe is insurance. But still, yet we are the individual. How do we make sense of this? I don't know. We surf. What? What do you mean? We surf, man, like our surfboard. Get on a surfboard and woo, because some of these waves, right? You ever watch surf? I can't surf to save my life. Well, I don't know. I haven't tried. Maybe I'll be all right. That's it. But I'm too chicken. Big chicken poop. That's your problem. Yes, mate. I am on this. Fine, fine, fine. Whatever, whatever. My point is, it's an analogy, right? The surfboard. Woo, we're surfing on the surfboard. You're kind of in control, but no, you're just sort of managing the situation. But sometimes it can be elegant, graceful, beautiful. Sometimes it's like dogs doing somersaults. There are many dogs that are superior surfers to me. And actually, what you see is this kind of like, okay, you are trying to ride the wave, aren't you? You ride the wave. That sounds cool. Why didn't you get that in the poem? Well, I was trying to be succinct. So anyway, what the next bit is even pain, loss, and death. So this is I'm trying to get a bit Nietzsche here, Nietzschean, no, Nietzschean. Oh, nice word, Nietzsche-ish, yeah. In terms of thinking about amor fati and that kind of thing, like shit's gonna happen, swashbuckle. It's being alive, right? And I mean, but there has also be absolutely solidarity for people. The tidal wave comes for you, and the tribe has to be there. This is not your fault when the tidal wave comes. All right, pain, loss, death. These things happen. You have to flow with life. You keep moving forward. This is the intuitive habit of both. The peacefully enduring we follow. The peacefully enduring we follow our ancestors. The peacefully enduring we follow are our ancestors, the shoulders of giants that we stand upon, correct? Right, okay, I get that. And this thing here, the invincible power of us as society. There is a society, man. Are you on board with that yet? Well, I don't know. I mean, you make some good points, but at the end of the day, I'm still like a classical Tory, classical kind of, Thatcher is that there is no society, as you remember. Remember how it says no society? What I remember is Boris Johnson saying, "Oh no, no, there is a society after all," when he got carted into hospital, unable to breathe and whatnot. And he had people who he would later, as I predicted at the time, people around me at the time will vouch for the fact that I predicted he will one day be cutting your pay and chucking you under the bus. Now that he's sitting there saying, "What? Oh no, there's a society now." Boo, 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 boo. So the invincible power of us is society, and it is invincible. The power of us. The power of human society builds. Look at it. I mean, look what we can build. Look what we can achieve and go to the moon and stuff. Amazing, the invincible power of Oz. Never forget the power of Oz. Never forget the power of the tribe when you're listening to these lobster thinking lobster people and their sort of bonkers golden child liberalism. Golden child liberalism is insane. Humans are a tribe. The peaceful, enduring, we follow our ancestors and the invincible power of Oz, you and I, dear listener. Thanks for listening to my work and best wishes to you in solidarity to whatever color of tie wearing person you are who's in demand of change and wants to try and cut through with philosophy and thinking and making sure we can find some kind of common ground regardless of tie color, save the planet and get to peace, that kind of stuff. All right, join me, follow me. Thank you very much. Well, there you go. It's not terrible. I will give you that. Habits, I get it. We've all got habits. Some of them are a mixture. Yeah, thoughtful. Okay, crack on. Get back to work or something.